You know what it is when you throw the ball up to your number one receiver? That's what we call a 50-50 ball. Bang, bang. We are back. I'm Splash, joined by Jack. We are the 50-50 ball. How's it going, man?
How's it going indeed? I mean, it's crazy that we're back behind the mic doing this show again. Or again, I say because we've done a billion other shows together, but now this is the start of something brand new, focusing completely on football this time. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So the NFL season is right around the corner. College football starts soon. We have Farmageddon to open up the season in Dublin. I'm pumped for that. I'm pumped for Eagles Cowboys. Is Micah Parsons going to be there? I don't know. We'll maybe discuss that in a little bit. But man, what's one word you have with football right around the corner?
Can I even think of one word? It's tricky to say because it's like there. It's just like you get into it and it's like the rush of emotion, and then you have that creeping thought in the back of your mind on Sunday of week one. Oh God, my team might suck right out of the gate. It's always a possibility. It's always there. I don't think it's going to happen this year with the Rams, but I'm I'm cautiously optimistic. I'll say.
Absolutely. And last year my Ravens started 0-2 and the sky was falling and it's like you lost to Vegas. How did you lose to Vegas? Then they win 12 of the last 15 and they're, on a roll heading into the playoffs. And we know how the playoffs went. Both of us bowed out on the same day in the division round, but you know what? That's okay. That is in the past. And our days at the sports desk tribute over 100 episodes. Here's to the next 100 with the 50-50 ball. And we will begin every episode with the Ramble. Jack probably had too much of the naming convention here as the Rams fan. But
I didn't even
man,
think of that. I didn't realize that. I literally thought of that on the spot because we like to ramble about football. So there you go.
good point. Will the Rams repeat as NFC West champions?
Yes.
Jack, don't answer that. That is for our next episode. Next week, we'll have all our season previews, all of our picks, all of our division winners, all of our wild cards. I have some spicy wild cards. I made up my predictions on our pre-show last week in our practice setting. But it's exciting stuff. Jack, you have Jared Verse, the reigning defensive rookie of the year. You have Braden Fisk. You have a loaded defense that I called heading into last season the worst defense in the
You
NFL.
said you were out, and I kept getting on your butt about that as the season went further and further along, and the Rams kept getting better. They kept getting healthier. I said, don't sleep. Do not sleep on a Sean McVay coach team.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You ended up being right. They gave the Eagles quite a run for the money
Only
in
team to do that, really.
in the playoffs. I will push back on that a little bit. I think the Packers defensively held in enough. They had the opening kickoff snafu. Philly scores a touchdown. Then after that, they kept the Packers in the game. And if Jordan Love plays a little bit better, who knows on that day. But yeah, so the Rams are looking good. The Ravens are looking good. Both of them are uh, among the favorites to win the Super Bowl, among the favorites to get back to the playoffs. The Rams, depending on what site you look at, might be second behind a certain Bang Bang Niner gang up in Santa Clara. By the way, the Super Bowl is in Santa Clara again. Throwback to Super Bowl 50 when Peyton Manning walked out on top in a 24-10 win over the Carolina Panthers. So Jack, give me the synopsis on the Rams for an outsider. Tell us what you expect from the Rams this season as the insider.
I think it's gonna be a really big year for this team going forward because obviously the rumors have been flying around all over the place about Stafford's back before a few days ago when he ended up being fine. He returned to practice. So far he looks like he's full go. Obviously they're going to continue to take it a day at a time with him. So I think that the Rams are not screwed if he's hurt, but they've just got such a deep team. I mean, Kevin Demoff, the COO, he called this team this year the most talented team they've had, and that's a bold claim. Like since they've returned to LA, they're the most talented team. That's a very bold claim because remember a few years back they won Super Bowl 56. They had Stafford, they had Cooper Kupp, they had Cam Akers back from the torn Achilles, which was a shocker, but they had so many guys. Darrell Henderson looked good for most of the year. Odell Beckham Jr. was there. Von Miller was there. Of course, Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Ernest Jones. I mean, there's so many names. Like that Super Bowl winning team was so deep. And this year's team is looking pretty deep too. And I mean, you just look at their preseason games to prove it. They looked very good. against the Cowboys. They looked very good when the Chargers played starters against their backups. They stopped them from scoring a touchdown. They scored a touchdown on the Chargers starters. So it's a really deep team, and I think it's a confidence booster as well, kind of knowing that the whole organization from top to bottom, the players, even the ones that may not be in the 53-man roster at the end of the preseason, it really looks like a strong team. Of course, that's super bittersweet, if I'm being honest, because you want him to finish his career here. You want him to be the kind of guy who has the opportunity to retire as a Ram where he started. But he also has not since the Rams won that Super Bowl. So there's a reason why they moved on and picked up Devontae Adams in free agency. And I think the combo of Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua with Matthew Stafford at quarterback is going to be insane. And you throw in some veteran O-line experience as well. You get Coleman Shelton back. That's a huge pickup. The receivers are just deep as heck too. Like Tutu Atwell, he looks like he's going to be pretty good. Jordan Whittington might play a role. There was one other guy I'm thinking about that his name does not come to mind right now.
Terrence Ferguson, the tight end?
Yes, Terrence Ferguson. That's exactly what it is. Got the heir to Tyler Higbee at tight end too. So we might not even see too much 11 personnel out of the Rams this year. They like 11 personnel, but they might move on from that this year with Tyler Higbee there. Terrence Ferguson's here. He's going to play preseason tomorrow. I say tomorrow as of this recording. Kyren Williams is back. They paid him pretty decently. Not an overpay, not an underpay, but not an overpay. I think that's if he can fix a few more things like the explosiveness and specifically not fumbling, I think he's a very solid running back. So I really like what I've seen on the offense. The defense, you already named all the people in the pass rush. The cornerback room, I think, is my only big question mark, but I don't think I'm too concerned about it just yet.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the Rams are firmly in the race to win the chaotic NFC West. This is a team that won it last year on a tiebreaker over Seattle, 10-7, Rams, 10-7 Seahawks. The 49ers were decimated with injuries. They fell to 6 wins. Arizona struggled with incompetence in terms of roster depth, but I think they've figured out a lot of things. So that should be a very entertaining discussion next week.
I should say one thing too. Thank God I don't have to worry about the special teams anymore. Joshua Carty is him. Ethan Evans, the punter, a specimen. Thank God the special teams actually look like they're going to be good this year, because the last few years, boy, the kicker carousel.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I, as a Ravens fan, have to deal with some kicker turnover. The Ravens have a new kicker. We'll start from the back end here with Baltimore. The Ravens drafted Tyler Loop out of my alma mater, Arizona, Bear Down Go Cats. And that's a change. It's been Justin Tucker since 2012 and 13 years as the Raven. A lot of clutch kicks. The record, 66-yard field goal to beat Detroit. Countless 50-yarders, 60-yarders. Playoff game winners, winning in Denver in the Mile High Miracle game. Was the epitome of clutch. Ask Bengals fans, ask Browns fans. And he struggled last season, has some off the field allegations, and he's no longer with the team. So that's the biggest question, honestly, for Baltimore is figuring out the special teams. That Tyler Loop is a rookie kicker. That is a scary proposition. I will say the last time the Ravens had a rookie kicker, they won the Super Bowl with Justin Tucker. So I'll throw that out there. But that's a scary proposition, as every game, it feels like, comes down to the final few moments. And for years and years, you could depend on number 9. Now the Ravens have to depend on number 33, which will take some getting used to. That's a college kicker number in the NFL. But I don't know. LeJohntay Wester as a returner, watch out. He had a nice punt return touchdown against Indianapolis week 1 of the preseason. But getting into the Ravens defense, man, this was one of the worst units in the NFL through week 10. And then after week 10, week 11 through the end of the season, it was arguably the best unit in football, led by the secondary, led by the best safety in the NFL. That's Kyle Hamilton, number 14. Just a stud, just an exceptional player. He is the epitome of what the NFL is moving to nowadays as a versatile. He can play nickel. He can play He can be your big body slot guy. He can be your tight end eraser type. He can play strong safety. He can play free safety. He can play linebacker. He can probably he can rush the passer. I know that he had 3 sacks against Gardner Minshew in a loss to the Colts back in 2023. Just an exceptional player, one of the best players in the NFL. And next to him in the back end, Malachi Starks, Baltimore's first-round pick, yet another first-round pick in that DB room. And I'll go to another pair, Marlon Humphrey, All-Pro Marlowe, who is getting disrespected all off-season in cornerback rankings. And you have Nate Wiggins, 2024 first-round pick, one of the lowest pass ratings allowed last season, allowed 0 touchdowns in the regular season. He was exceptional. Had a pick 6 against the Browns, Week 18. You bring in Jair Alexander. If he's on the field, he's one of the top 15 corners in the league. I have full confidence saying that. If he's not on the field, you have Marlowe, who is a top 5 corner. There's a reason he was an All-Pro last year. He's an all-star level player in the slot. He is perfectly fine on the boundary, but he is a game changer in the slot. He has the fruit punch ability, that peanut punch, fruit punch. He calls it the fruit punch. Charles Tillman, of course, famous for the peanut punch. He's going to force 3, 4, 5 turnovers a year. Those are huge plays. Baltimore needs those, particularly in January. We'll get into that. But then you got Wiggins on the outside. Speed on speed on speed. You can't stack him. You can't beat him deep. He's an excellent corner. You also bring in Chidobe Awuzie via Tennessee. Cincinnati, he was on the Super Bowl roster several years ago, but it's one of the best secondaries. I would argue the best secondary in the NFL. You have a top 3 corner to me, Marlon Humphrey. He was elite in the slot. He was perfectly awesome on the boundary. Wiggins, Jair, and at the back end, Hamilton and Starks. Linebacker core, a question here. Roquan Smith last year, technically an All-Pro, technically a Pro Bowler. I didn't buy that. He was not in my All-Splash team. You can check out our Rolodex on a different channel for that one. But behind Roquan Smith, who's the 3rd best linebacker in the NFL, let's call him that, is it going to be Trenton Simpson? Is it going to be Teddy Buchanan? I don't know. That's sketchy. You're going to see probably a lot of dime out of the Ravens, 4 down linemen, Roquan, and then 6 DBs. The pass rush, the run defense, the front line, the name to watch out for is 2nd-round pick Mike Green. And to quote Locked on Ravens, my green. Just an exceptional pass rusher. There's a reason he fell in the draft. We're not going to get into that on this show. You can Google that yourself. A truly limitless potential player, I would say. I know he played at Marshall, and he's going to get dinged for that as well. But he started at Virginia, goes to Marshall, and every time he played a big opponent, played Virginia Tech in the ACC, played Ohio State, he balled out. I think he'll do a lot of the same thing at the NFL level. He's a crazy motor. He's going to be a guy who can defend the run. He can rush the passer. He brings power. He brings speed. He brings all sorts of moves. He is the full tool belt. He hasn't even played an NFL snap yet, or a real legitimate NFL snap yet. So the world is his oyster, frankly. And the Ravens retained 2 guys that had 10 sacks last season. Odafe Owe, who is in a contract year, by the way. Kyle Van Noy, the ageless wonder. You also have Tavius Robinson, former mid-round pick, who's exciting. Adisa Isaac's going to miss the first couple weeks of the season, but he's a nice rotational pass rusher type. Then on the interior, Nnamdi Madubuike, who had a huge year in 2023, not quite as big of a year last year. Travis Jones, a big breakout candidate for me. Michael Pierce, goodbye, see you. Great Raven. But Travis Jones, it's time to fill in those 350-pound shoes that Michael Pierce is vacating. Shout out to Michael Pierce, by the way. He had a sick pick to end his regular season career against Cleveland that he slides down because a 360-pound man is not going to run 80 yards to score a touchdown. But hopping over to the offense, number 8. I don't even have to say his name. He deserved to win the MVP. I will stand on that. I know the playoffs, not what you want, but guess what? Only one team wins the Super Bowl. Happen to be the guys in Philadelphia. Maybe it's this year for Baltimore. I don't know. Number 22 in the backfield, the king, the best running back in football. Yes, even over that guy in Philadelphia. I know he had 100 fewer rushing yards. Yeah, on 20 fewer attempts. 5.9 yards per carry, the best of his career. This was the best rushing attack, not just in the NFL, not just in the last 5 years or last 10 years, the best rushing offense in the history of the NFL. 5.9 yards per carry throughout the entire season. That includes the playoff games against Pittsburgh and Buffalo. They dominated from start to finish. And not only do they have the best running back in football, you have awesome depth in Justice Hill, great pass catching threat, a tough pass blocker despite his smaller size. He's more of that scat back type, but he pass blocks his behind off. And I question the vision sometimes, so he's not the great pure runner or anything. But then Keaton Mitchell, man, he is a firecracker of a third back. He averaged over 8 yards a carry as a rookie back in 2023. Had long touchdowns, long plays. It felt like week in and week out until he tore his ACL against Jacksonville. He's back. He's full strength. He had a huge preseason game against Indianapolis week 1. I'm excited. That is the best backfield in the NFL. You have QB1 for me, RB1 for me, the best like RB room in the league. How many teams can offer you 3 legitimate running backs? I raise you Baltimore can. The receiver room has been criticized. I don't know how fair that criticism is. Zay Flowers, I think, is a top 30 receiver in the game. Rashad Bateman is a top 45-ish receiver. He had 11 total touchdowns last year, 9 in the regular season, 2 in the playoffs. And I just throwing that out there. Final drive against Buffalo, the Mark Andrews drop drive, that one. Lamar, no Zay Flowers, and no Rashad Bateman on that drive. He's driving down the field with Anthony Miller, Tylan Wallace, and a whole bunch of slubs. I don't know. QB1 activities, just saying. Tight end room, even with an injured Isaiah Likely, it's one of the best rooms in the league. Mark Andrews, yes, I know he had the drop, he had the fumble in the playoffs. I get it. He has historically struggled. He is probably the biggest choker of the Ravens in terms of playoff struggles. But regular season, he had 11 touchdowns last year. He's still Marky Mark, number 89. Isaiah Likely, he is as good of a tight end as anyone in the league. He just has not gotten the opportunity to show that. He's going to get a gigantic contract this offseason, hopefully with Baltimore. Maybe he goes elsewhere. And to round out the room of tight ends, all 3 in their contract years, Charlie Kolar, one of the unheralded studs to me, a guy that he's been the tight end 3, and with Patrick Ricard as the all-pro fullback, he kind of gets pushed down the depth chart, and he's kind of lurking. But, when a fat man runs up the seam, those are the words of Charlie Kolar, he can score a touchdown. Just throwing that out there. And the offensive line from left to right, as of right now, Ronnie Stanley, former All-Pro, as rock solid as you get at left tackle. Better pass blocker than run blocker, but he's improved gradually as a run blocker. He's a very good pass protector. Left guard, Andrew Voorhees, watch out. This is a major, major breakout player. Before the 2023 draft, he's projected to be a second-round guy, third-round guy, one of those mid-round guys you probably sit for the first year and then as a starter in year 2. This is his 3rd year, but he tore his ACL at the combine, drops to the 6th, 7th round. Baltimore picks him up. They don't play him in 23, plays a few games in 2024. He is the full-blown starter in 2025. Watch out. Just saying. He was great at USC, tears his ACL, older guy, smart guy. I think he figures something out. Tyler Linderbaum, also in a contract year. Sensing a theme here. This is a very Super Bowl or bust team, so scary times to be a Ravens fan. But Linderbaum, to me, the second best center in the NFL, with Frank Ragnow retiring. Excellent run blocker. Pass protection, he's fine. He's a center. Just you kind of deal with it. But just a stellar run blocker, especially getting to the second level. Go back and watch the 2022 Bucs game to see him turn Devin White into a potato. Right guard, probably the biggest issue on the team, Daniel Falele, the mountain of a man out of Minnesota. I don't know what you get from him. He's sketchy in pass protection. He doesn't have the leverage advantage often because he's 6'8", 380 pounds. So smaller pass rushers can get underneath him and move him back. He got knocked onto his behind against the Colts in one of the ugliest reps you're going to see out of a right guard. So I don't know. Patrick McCarry, he's over in Jacksonville now. So your swing tackle, guard, swing every position because he can play center too. So he's in Jacksonville. So that does shake up the offensive line depth. And then at right tackle, your second round pick last year, Roger Rosengarten, just a rock solid player. TJ Watt's father. Excited. And that's a very loaded team. I think it is a justifiable pick to be the best roster in the NFL. And Chiefs fans and Bills fans, before you come for my head, there's a coaching difference. Andy Reid coaches circles around John Harbaugh. It's as simple as that. John Harbaugh poops his pants when he sees Andy Reid on the other sideline. That's just what happens. I'm aware of it. That's just what happens. And then the Buffalo game, that game is one play difference, flip a coin. So,
Jack? I feel like a lot of teams kind of wet their pants when they see Andy Reid on the other sideline. in the most for the
One of
most.
my favorite Andy Reid moments is when he had the full like face screen, like peak
Oh
COVID
yeah,
times. He had the full like
he had to get like technology for it to like NHL hockey technology for it. Like you know how hockey players will have like the visor over their
Mhm.
helmet. They have there's like technology in those visors so they don't fog up while people are breathing into them like
Mhm.
crazy. So like they or like the ice and stuff doesn't fog or whatever. It just doesn't fog up.
Yeah.
Andy Reid having to get that for his helmet so it wasn't totally shrouding his face was hilarious. I remember too. There was like I think there was like a playoff game or something where he wore like an actual face mask, but it looked like it was barely sticking to his face. He like
It'd be like that.
the fashion choices during COVID were interesting to say the least.
Yeah. That just
What a sight!
Yeah, what this man,
Evil
this
Emperor
man,
type vibes.
this man, this beautiful, beautiful man. Hey, that's the best coach in the NFL. This is what peak male performance looks like, my friends.
Indeed.
All right, Jack. I think it's time to rank some quarterbacks.
Let's do that.
Surely this won't be controversial at all.
Surely not. I mean, you know, we debate quarterbacks all the time. I love yapping about how people are wrong on social media about quarterbacks and everything like that.
Yes.
But, you know, things happen.
Mm-hmm. No rookies, by the way. Sorry. Can't really judge Ward and Shudder, and Tyler Shuck, Dylan Gabriel. Sorry. So week one, I'll grade him, or Jackson Dart as well. So week one, I will happily grade Cam Ward and tell you why he's the best quarterback in the NFL or why he sucks. But we're not ready for week one yet.
We're
It's
close.
around the corner. It's around the corner. And you know what? It's Kyler time, baby. It's September. Not quite September, but it's about to be September. Kyler, historically
Kyler,
great high
you've
school
got
quarterback.
Kyler, you've got about a month before the new Call of Duty comes out, so we'll see what you can do within that month.
Well, I was going to say, historically great high school quarterback, historically great college quarterback, and the NFL.
Ways to go still.
Yes. Why is that? Because those seasons end in November. And Kyler turns into a pumpkin in December. This is a Nick Wright take. This is not my own take. So just parodying
Why are we trusting the word of Nick Wright here?
Because it's just a hilarious take that if the NFL had like a strike shortened season, Kyler would win MVP because there would be no games in December.
Oh my god, that's actually like one of the most sane things he's said. I have honestly stopped listening to anything that they say ever since I'm pretty sure he called the Rams team in 2023. He said they were devoid of talent.
He was really, to be fair, he was really high on the Rams last season.
Fair enough. I mean, I was too, and then they got hurt in week 1 and week 2, so
fair. All right.
But then they almost brought it back. Anyway.
Yes.
Kyler.
We head into our quarterback rankings. We will start with one, Kyler Murray. I submit to you, Jack, Kyler Murray is a B tier quarterback.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Wonderful. Why is Kyler a B tier quarterback? Because he has the talent to be higher in the list. He has the reputation, perhaps, that he's between a B and a C. He's a guy that his quarterback ranking starts with a 1, somewhere between 10 and 19. Some years he's closer to 10 and maybe even into the top 10. Some years he's 17. This is a big year. He needs to prove it with Maserati Marv on the outside. They had miserable communication, miserable connection on deep balls. Very strange, very weird. But Kyler, you're a B tier quarterback.
Yep.
Jack, walk us through Matthew Stafford.
Okay. I'm so tempted to put him on S tier. I really am.
Will end the chat right now.
But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put him A tier. Here's why. Because we have seen this guy explode time and time and time again. I think the only thing, and like this is something that's going to be talked about a lot, and I know other Rams fans are sick of hearing it too, but injuries. The dude's list of injuries is longer than the Bill of Rights. And it's become pretty clear, especially after all the back stuff that was coming up this offseason, that there's not really a whole lot of time left for Stafford in this league. And now it's pretty apparent that there are some rumors around there that the Rams might be considering looking for his replacement in next year's draft. Next year has a loaded quarterback class, and the Rams have 2 first-round picks, which that does not happen very often for this franchise. We scammed Atlanta. So I would say Stafford, I'm going to put him in A tier because he is still very much him. It's just you can't ignore the injuries, and you can't ignore that the longevity is still going to be an issue. But with this man under center, I'm not worried about Devontae. I'm not worried about Puka. I'm not worried about him missing anything or any kind of stuff like that. Like, as long as he is still driving the ship with Sean McVay, I don't see any reason why the Rams can't make him run this year.
Yeah, and I do have some pushback with like The Athletic listing him as QB5 and saying he's a tier 1 quarterback. Not after last season. Sorry. You could have made the argument after 2021. You could have made the argument after one of his Lions seasons, but I think he is definitively between 6 and 10 on your quarterback list. And I have a very fluid middle, like 5 to 15 to me is very similar. There's a trait here or a trait there that you can use to delineate, but Stafford to me is like the 7th or 8th best quarterback in the league. The injuries scare me. The back stuff is particularly scary. He's 37 and he's an old 37. He's played a lot of football. He's taken a lot of hits behind some questionable offensive lines in Detroit and Los Angeles. But when he's on the field, he's a gamer. He might throw an interception here or there, but he'll answer back. He'll throw 2 touchdowns. So,
yeah, we talk about a lot. I think this isn't my quote directly, but I'm pretty sure I've said it before on one of our older shows that his arm is his biggest strength and also his biggest weakness.
Yeah,
sometimes he throws a very
male fortitude, if you will.
Yeah, he throws a very weird interception every now and then, but then he'll immediately throw like a nuke to Puka and it'll make up for it. So, yeah, I think we're in agreement there, basically.
All right, and we're going to stay in the NFC West. Sam Darnold, a man who won 14 games last season with Minnesota, but in the biggest game, the 2 biggest games of his season, fell apart against Detroit, fell apart against the Rams, and he's probably a quarterback that has to go into C tier. I could hear the argument for D tier depending on how big we want to make D tier, but I think he's a C tier quarterback. He was really quite good last season. He was a legitimate MVP, like down ballot MVP.
He's volatile.
Ballot guy.
I'm fine putting him in C tier with you because I think he's really volatile either way. Like, he can have like some very, very good games. I loved watching his connection with Justin Jefferson last season. Like, he wasn't bad. The problem is, so far, when we've seen him in these massive games where it's like, okay, you need to come through, you need to win, he's fallen apart. He fell apart in that Detroit game. It's literally that meme of like when the lights were brightest, he didn't.
Yeah, it's the Jared Allen meme, unfortunately. But hey, he's in Seattle, new offense. I think they're going to run the ball more. Hopefully the offensive line will be better than it was for Geno. We'll get to Geno in a little bit. So I think Darnold could move into B tier. I would not be opposed to that, but I could also see him staying in C tier. I don't think he'll have as strong of a season statistically, but he's fine. He's a top 22 quarterback. Call it.
I could still see him dropping the D tier though.
Perhaps.
Because I'm going to bring it up again. He played the Rams in that playoff game last year, got sacked 9 times. And now he's in the division, the same division as them, which means he's now playing against that same D line twice a year.
Counter.
Good luck.
He'll probably have a better offensive line than Minnesota's in that wild card game.
That's fair.
Now,
they were missing a big piece in that one too, I'm pretty sure.
Not much, with Seattle's interior in particular being a question. They drafted Gray Zabel. Their right guard, Christian Moore, out of UConn last season. He's hopefully a better scheme fit in the Clint Kubiak offense now. You get something out of center. Your tackles are perfectly fine. So in theory, it'll be a better offensive line than O-line 32 like it was for most of last season. So, who knows? All right, who's next? Derek Carr is retired. He can go in F tier.
Sure.
So congratulations on a perfectly mid-career Derek Carr.
We'll put former player there. We'll make F tier a former player career, I guess.
Cool.
If we
And
want to do
he
that.
can be joined by his once teammate, Spencer Rattler, because Spencer Rattler is not a real NFL quarterback. Sorry. Just unfortunately for the Saints, they are stuck in purgatory here. Tyler Shuck is probably your best answer, and he's going to be 26 years old. 26 years old in a couple weeks. So
Good luck, Saints.
yeah.
Danny Dimes.
Oh boy.
Is that Daniel Jones? It looks like
Yeah, that
Eli
is Danny
Manning
Dimes.
almost, honestly.
I think Danny Dimes has to go in F tier as well. Okay. As the high man generally on Daniel Jones, I am cautiously optimistic he'll have a good statistical season. And I said good. I think he'll have a good statistical season. I think the throw to throw stuff will be average, like PFF grade will be average, EPA will be average, stuff like that. QBR will be average, but he has a lot of weapons. He is throwing to the best set of receivers he has ever had. Now, they're not as good as Malik Neighbors was last year. I'll throw that out, but it's probably wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, tight end 1, RB. He did play with Saquon, so RB2 and Jonathan Taylor, and a better offensive line than he ever had in New York. I know there's some new pieces as the entire interior of the offensive line migrated to Minnesota in the offseason, but I am cautiously optimistic. I think Daniel Jones could have. He's the best bet for like the Sam Darnold, Geno Smith type season, like the breakout, like long into the career.
All right.
Did I just say Daniel Jones and Pro Bowl in the same sentence?
Did you?
That's a scary thought.
That's horrifying. Please never do that again.
Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito.
F-tier.
F tier.
Sorry, pal.
Not a whole lot needs to be said there.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts. A tier, baby.
I'm not ordering these, by the way. I'm not ordering them left to right. I'm just throwing them into tiers. Okay. Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's so for me, playoff experience or playoff games, playoff wins, playoff performances, they should be bonus points. Because guys like Joe Burrow, they're not making the playoffs. It's not fair to move Lamar below, for example, because he sucks in the playoffs. Well, Joe never gets to the playoffs. Jalen elevates in the playoffs. He has played the best game of his career in the Super Bowl twice. He has gone toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl twice. He has played to his level in Super Bowl 57. And above his level, he was spectacular in Super Bowl 59. No Saquon to be had in that game. Jalen Hurts said, I'm going to carry us to the promised land, hang 40 on the Chiefs. Great job, Jalen. He has his critics. That'll put him in the back half of the top 10. To me, Jalen Hurts is QB5. He is right behind that big four that will throw an S tier when we get to them. He is a very good deep ball thrower. I like when he knows what he's doing, he is great. There is some indecision sometimes. He'll have the occasional bad interception. He's not quite as explosive as you want sometimes. Like he's not a Lamar or a Fields level runner or even a Jaden level runner. But
if he gets enough pressure too, like you have a chance to beat him, I will say. Again, bias here, even though we lost the game. I'm going to look at the Rams playoff game last year because I feel, and weather was a factor in that too. Let's not forget it was snowing.
Sure.
I ironically enough feel like once it started snowing, Matthew Stafford actually kind of was outplaying Jalen Hurts. So it can be really circumstantial, but I do agree with what you're saying.
Absolutely. All right, who is next? Kenny Pickett. Browns legend, throw him an F tier.
Yeah. We lost the game to him because the referees didn't know how to spot the ball.
Ooh. We lost to Kenny Pickett once because Roquan got mossed.
Unlucky.
Yes. Brock Purdy, the last of the NFC West bunch, and I'm going to throw him into B tier. Any arguments, Jack?
Maybe C. I don't know. I don't think he's bad enough for C tier. I think he's about as mid as they come, maybe a little bit more than mid, maybe a little bit above average because he does have moments that are like really explosive.
Mhm.
And it's like not a whole lot of QBs can do that, but at the same time, he's not I don't want to call him overrated. He's not overrated, but I don't think he is like as accustomed to the pressure as some other quarterbacks are. Like I think the better quarterbacks are the one where you can throw adversity at them and they explode. And
Okay.
Purdy, I almost said Herbert.
Mhm.
Purdy
Same
is
thing.
not. Yeah, kind of the same thing, honestly. But Justin Herbert, Purdy's not one of those guys.
So I tended to be a little lower on Purdy. I think I've come around and maybe a smidge higher on him than most people. I think he is the prototype for the Shanahan offense from a quarterback perspective. Really cerebral with his eyes, not on the defense. And what do I mean by that? You can run legitimate play action with Brock Purdy, not like a zone read like the Lamar and the Jalen, like play action, yes, but it's more of like a read option. But Brock can say, I'm going to put this ball in the gut of the running back, pull it. My eyes are into the other end zone. He'll flip his eyes around. He'll see what the defense is doing. He'll find his guy. The stats will always be superior to what the eye test says. That's just how the Shanahan offense works. That's why Jimmy Garoppolo is on a list in terms of yards per attempt. That's why Jimmy G is on a list with Hall of Famer, 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 right? And Brock Purdy is like a couple rungs down because he didn't have like prime Debo. He's throwing the football too. So I think Brock is a good quarterback. Is he more than good? I don't know. Is he going to be an MVP candidate? Maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't know.
Who does he have to throw the ball to right now? Sky Moore?
Yeah, my guy, Western Michigan legend, baby.
A lot of receiver problems for the 49ers right now.
They have Ricky Pearsall, who's hurt. Juwan Jennings, who is hurt with a contract. That
Is like Jawan Jennings is a stud. I like Jawan
he's a
Jennings,
really
but
he touchdown in the Super Bowl, by the way. Shout out.
yeah,
Yeah, he's
that
a
contract
if you
deal.
ask 49ers beat reporters or ask 49ers brass,
Like,
they're like 50-50 in terms of does he have a calf injury or is he just holding out with contract? It's like,
do not
well,
want to ask 49ers beat reporters anything.
all right. moving on to a former NFC West quarterback. That's Geno Smith. I think Geno belongs in B tier.
I agree.
I think Geno is a good quarterback. I think this is an upgraded offensive line situation, hopefully, over Seattle, hopefully.
Could be some familiarity with him with Pete Carroll back in
Yes. And Jamal Adams
Vegas.
as a linebacker now.
Is he just a linebacker? Did they finally make him just okay? He's a threat now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blitz boy, baby.
That changes my perception and perspective. I cannot talk right now. Holy crap.
Yeah. Just FYI, look ahead to next week. Both of us are picking the Raiders to go 17-0 and win the Super Bowl. Just saying.
Blitz boy, baby. Yeah, that's
But yeah.
With Geno, that changes how I feel about Jamal because Jamal in coverage is that's rough. But when blitzing, when rushing, he's okay.
He's a good player.
He turns heads.
He was a good player in Seattle. Now he's older. Remains to be seen what he does in Vegas. Geno, plus mobility. I'll start with that. Move a little bit. So if the offensive line is just like 25th instead of 32nd, like I said, I think he can make it work. He has a great tight end, Brock Bowers. He has a 1,000-yard receiver in Jacoby Myers. The Raiders drafted multiple receivers, Jack Besh, and oh my goodness, he's a super freaky athlete at oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. Raiders draft pick.
Jamarcus
of
Russell.
Course, yes. They did draft Ashton Genty, my king, my lord and savior, my hero. Dante Thornton Jr., 6'4", 205. His call it height, weight, speed. His comps are Calvin Johnson. End of list. So
wow.
If he works, I don't know, man. I have like the worst hit rate with wide receivers. But yeah, I think Geno is a good NFL quarterback. He's definitively top half for me. He's played at times like a top 10 guy. I will say he loves a good interception in the red zone. That's not ideal.
Yeah, I watched him throw more than his fair share of those last year. So
Not ideal,
a
but
weakness.
maybe we can figure that out in a new offense. He has the power of Pete Carroll rooting for him.
Which may or may
Uh,
not work.
yeah. So I don't know.
Really hit or miss with the Raiders team this year. Like on paper, they look good. I know you've told me you're high on them, but I think they're a hit or miss team.
All right. Next QB. Kirko. Is Penix here? Because if not,
is he here?
we can.
You see him here?
No, I do not. Yeah. So I don't see Penix. Do you want to use Kirk as the Penix stand-in? Because I don't think it's worth our time to rank Kirk.
Okay.
Okay. We can rank Kirk, and I'll talk about Penix.
Well, Kirk would be an F tier, I think, or D tier.
Yeah, probably D tier. The second year off the Achilles, probably be a little bit better, but I don't know. I think he's kind of cooked. Like at least Rodgers off the Achilles. Rodgers was a 55 grade athlete. Cousins was a statue to begin with, and then you sap even more of the athleticism. Like the Falcons had to run almost all pistol because Kirk couldn't reach his landmarks to feed Bijan on outside zone. So you couldn't have him under center and you couldn't have him in the shotgun because those wouldn't be conducive to running outside zone with Bijan and Algier and co. So the athleticism dip is really stark with him. But Michael Penix, man, just a totally opposite player of Kirk. Not only is he a lefty, but he has a hose. Not accurate yet, hopefully.
That can be improved.
But man, that man has a howitzer. He throws a beautiful football. He is, as far as I'm concerned, he is what people think Justin Herbert is, just throwing left-handed. Just incredible zip on the football. Great deep ball. Watch out for Drake London. If you're a fantasy guy, draft Drake London, draft Michael Penix, stack them up, win your league. That's my fantasy take of the year right there. Penix and London will lead you to the title.
I had Drake London in fantasy last year, I think.
Great player.
I don't remember how well it went. What do you got next?
Baker, top 10 QB maker. Throw him in A tier, baby.
Yeah, I agree. Baker, the redemption story is still going strong. The way he went to the Rams and did that crazy comeback drive in 48 hours notice. And then he's just been proving that he can lead an offense ever since.
Yeah, and
that was such an out-of-body experience, the way he did that. Like, that was
we went live. Or did we go live or just record something afterwards?
I think we recorded something afterwards. I think I was like, it was while you were still doing your Splash Rants channel. Yeah. And I was like, get me on there. And now I need to talk about this ASAP. Like,
that was great. But
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, Baker, man, just he's great. And I think he is a top 10 quarterback. I think he is closer to 5 than 10. He's a dog. He showed that as a Brown. He showed that as a Ram. He has showed that as a Buck. When the chips are down, the game is on the line. Baker's in that group of guys that, yeah, I want Baker throwing the football. Yes, he has great weapons. He's on his 8th offensive coordinator in 8 seasons. Did I hear that correctly? Although the last 2 got hired as NFL head coaches, so maybe he's a head coach maker. I don't know. Great weapons, and he throws the ball around. He has a little bit of mobility, has that baller mentality, that gangsta mentality that he'll pick up a first down with his legs. He'll yap at you. It's a lot of fun to watch. The Bucs are going to be a great team, and I maybe pick them to go to the Super Bowl. Next week. Who knows? All right, who's next?
Jayden Daniels.
Jayden. A tier?
A tier.
Just a special rookie season.
He is why, honestly, that the Commanders are in my Super Bowl bubble, I'll say. In the conversation. I don't think they're quite there just yet, but I think they're on the radar at the very least because of Jayden Daniels.
And yeah, I can list off all the reasons I think Washington will regress. There's plenty of them, but Jayden, through 1 year, I'll throw that out, through 1 season, looks like he can overcome those. Looks like he can be the most likely candidate to be an S tier quarterback outside of the guys that are currently an S tier quarterback. He makes plays with his legs, but does not use that as a crutch. He has exceptional arm talent, exceptional ability to place the ball down the field, to level, to layer the football to all three levels. And like I said, the scrambling helps. The 3rd and 4s, the 4th and 2s, that is a game changer. I can point out, well, yeah, they're not going to convert 90% of their 4th downs and not have they're going to fail a 4th down before November. I will bet money on that one. But when you have Jaden, it changes the math on the 4th and 2s of the world. Now, it's not quite tush push territory like Jalen, but Jaden can move around. He'll extend. He'll find time. He'll find Terry McLaurin. He'll find Bill Krosky, Merritt. That's my second fantasy take. Another Arizona guy. He's a king. Watch out. But yeah, he's an exceptional player. He has a great rapport with Zach Ertz, even though he's just a rookie. So I think the future is incredibly bright for Jaden.
I just scrolled down to see who is next. I'm not even going to waste any time.
Yeah, we can throw Lamar, Josh, and Joe into the S tier. This has been the worst part of the offseason to me, is just nitpicking the top 4. We can throw Mahomes up there as well.
Yeah.
So we can just find
There's Mr. Kermit the Frog.
Listen, I don't care what order you have them in. Those are the top 4 quarterbacks. Personally, I just have it 8, 9, 15, 17. I just go jersey number. I don't want any deeper analysis than that. Although Mahomes is better than Josh. That's my take. But regardless, they are elite.
Especially in the playoffs.
Yes. They are elite S-tier operators. They carry the team. Yes, even Burrow, even with the elite receivers. Yes, they carry. They are clutch. They make plays with their arm. And I would argue they make plays with their legs too. Mahomes has the bit that he's always faster than the defensive lineman chasing him. He always gets 9 yards when he needs 8. Burrow does a lot of the same things, even if the rushing total is never going to be gaudy with Burrow. I know that. But he has some shiftiness. He has some mobility. He can extend the play, again. And then Josh and Lamar are unique rushing talents. Lamar is the best rushing quarterback of all time, full stop. You can say Vic is a better scrambler, perfectly fine. You can say Jaden's a better scrambler. You can say Fields is a better scrambler. Designed rushing game, Lamar Jackson is the best ever. And last year, he decided, I'm just going to be an elite passer. He had the 4th highest pass rating in the history of the NFL, 41 passing touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, a crazy high yards per attempt, a crazy high touchdown percentage. He was truly unbelievable. And then Josh, I will say the Bills took the ball out of his hands a little bit in terms of throwing the football. Part of that's a weapons thing. Buffalo, figure it out. Part of that's Josh Allen is a bruiser, and he's going to make last year at least, he made the smart play. The Bills tied the record for fewest turnovers in a season. Now, that is more of a Bills skill position. We can argue that another time. That's a Bills skill position fact more than a Josh Allen fact, but he's an exceptional. At worst, any one of these guys is the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. So there's the conversation.
Great. Yep. That's the only conversation that needs to be had.
Deshaun Watson, can we put him below F tier?
Great. Moving to the back of the line.
Great. DTR, F tier. Yeah, DTR is not an NFL quarterback. Sorry. Jameis.
There's a reason why the tier is also called former player.
Hey man, DTR is on the Eagles.
Okay. It's a combination of both then.
Jameis, probably D tier. He's a capable backup.
He has his moments.
Yeah,
like you said, capable backup, but I don't really necessarily trust him leading the operation right now.
Mm-hmm. He's QB3 in New York, and he's better for a quote than a game. But hey, he did throw for 497 yards against the Broncos last year, so there's something in there. Bo Nix, I think he's a C tier.
I think he's a C tier too. But he's, I think, boom or bust, I think, is the appropriate term here. He's either I think he does have what it takes to be brought up higher on the list, but he just hasn't. I don't think he's quite figured it out just yet. I think he's still got a little bit more experience that he needs. He can get that under Sean Payton, though. He has a really good head coach to figure that out. So I think work on the experience a bit more, keep learning, keep growing, because the confidence in the pocket, I think, was one of the things that I noticed last season too. Was kind of the big thing that stood out to me with Bo Nix is that he was under a lot of pressure in his first game,
Mhm.
and he looked comfortable.
Mhm. And one thing I particularly like with Nix is he's not afraid to use his legs. We can bash other quarterbacks for running too much. Nix, 3rd and 6, he has a lane to pick up a first down. He will make the par putt. And that's the best thing about Nix is that he will make his pars. Does he have as many birdies as other guys? No. Is he going to have the occasional bogey? Yes. But if he's on the green and has a 15-foot putt to make par, he's going to make that putt. So that is a valuable trait in a Sean Payton offense. You bring in RJ Harvey in the backfield. You have J.K. Dobbins now. You have one of the best offensive lines in football. And again, you have Sean Payton. So the screen game is going to be elite. We know that. He's going to draw up the bangers. So I think he'll have a good statistical season. I think he's going to be in that 16 to 20 group of quarterbacks this year, but his stats will probably be like the 8th best quarterback or 10th best quarterback in the league.
I'll put it this way though, like with your analogy to golf, I mean that's basically exactly if you can make par, then that's really all that matters. I'd rather my team have like a 20 play drive that ends in that like moves slowly but ends in a touchdown versus they throw the ball deep down the field, get right inside the red zone, and then they have to kick a field goal.
Right. He's like Purdy to me, but like an underdeveloped Purdy. Same idea as a quarterback, I think. Nix is a little bit more talented. There's a reason he went in the first round compared to Purdy being Mr. Irrelevant, but the archetype to me is pretty similar.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's kind of rapid fire here these next few.
CJ Stroud, A tier, B tier.
I think
to me, he's like the definition of
between the two.
Yeah.
I think he's A tier. I think he's solid.
If we grade him more with 2023 in mind, a 2-year sample, he's A tier. If it's just last season, he's more B to C tier. Apparently, he didn't have control of the offense under Bobby Slowick. It was sort of like the old Lamar thing that, no, you can't do pass protection. You can't change routes on the field. You can't audible. So maybe we get a new version of Stroud year 3. Bad offensive line, but who knows? I don't know.
I mean, I might be going. I don't know for sure yet, but I might be going to the Rams game against Houston week 1. So hopefully the bad offensive line is still there.
Yeah. Okay. Although Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter are going to feast on the corpse of Matthew Stafford week 1. I'll just throw that out there.
No, they're not. Not behind
We'll get to that with
our O-line's better. Our O-line's better. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Bryce.
Bryce, I think is C tier.
C tier. Room for improvement, but not the greatest.
Yeah, he really turned it on in the second half.
He did.
Last 8 weeks of the season or so, I thought he was really quite good. Now we can't ignore the first year and change. That was bad, but if we're going to be fair, he looked a lot better, and I think he's perfectly fine in that Sam Darnold tier, and even the Bo Nix in that range. That we saw a lot of good, we saw some mid or some bad, and we don't know yet. C is in the middle ground for a reason. Anthony Richardson, F.
This is a spicy one to talk about. I said we'd go rapid fire, but then we end up on Anthony Richardson, and it's like,
I'm sorry. If you can't beat Daniel Jones in a quarterback battle, F tier. I'm sorry. It's the rules of engagement here. You only have to complete. Now, okay. I have my issues with completion percentage, but when you're below 60%, you're below 55%, you're at 50% like Richardson is, that's when we have a problem. It's like batting average in baseball. I don't care if you're hitting 250 versus 300. If you're hitting below 200, we have issues. Anthony Richardson is hitting like 172. We have major issues. Daniel Jones can at least run the offense. Anthony Richardson, in a very talented group, can't run the offense.
I mean, we talk about like the volatile QBs a lot. I think that he is very much one of them because the potential definitely is there. We've seen the flashes before.
Yeah.
But
he had the best throw of the season last year. First throw of the year is the best throw anyone had the entire season. And after that, it was just not good. He turns the ball over. He's like very inaccurate. And it's not even like it's magnitudes worse than other quarterbacks. Like I can say, Lamar will spray a ball, or Josh previously would spray a ball. Penix sprays balls, whatever. Anthony Richardson is just straight up inaccurate. I don't know what to say. And he has had 23 career starts, college and pros. Every rookie drafted besides who was it? Beside all but one of the quarterbacks drafted in the 2025 class have had more collegiate starts than Richardson has had college and pro. That's not great.
No.
So he hasn't developed. You're in a good offense with Steichen. You have a good running game. And Richardson, to his credit, is an elite runner of the football. Just will fumble occasionally and it gets banged up all the time. So who knows? Trevor Lawrence.
This is a guy that I really wish had a better supporting cast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's awful in Jacksonville either, but it's definitely not like among the best in the league.
Yeah, I think he has to go in C tier for now.
Yeah.
We've seen top 10 Trevor before, but he's just been in and out of the lineup, and he will spray balls. That's another. He's a quarterback that is on the scale of inaccurate to accurate. He is below average in terms of accuracy, but whatever. Mac Jones, F. He is in San Francisco, so Kyle Shanahan has his guy.
Not sure I would trust Kyle Shanahan with his guys, but that's a different topic.
Fair enough. Gardner Minshew, F.
I don't even remember what team Gardner Minshew is on.
He is on the Chiefs. He is the backup to Mahomes.
Not a whole lot to say there then when you're the backup to Mahomes.
Aiden O'Connell, F. If anything, this is the Geno Smith argument because they had Gardner, AOC, and Desmond Ridder last season. So Geno's going to be better than that. This is the Raiders argument in a nutshell. Justin Herbert. A tier?
A, B. I'm a little bit split.
Uh-huh.
I'll probably go A. I'll be nice. I'll put him in A tier.
This is another case
of are questionable.
Yeah. They took the ball out of his hands to be more successful. I'll just put it that way. Yes, I know he only threw 3 regular season interceptions. I get it.
That sounds like the most Chargers thing of all time. They took the ball out of their QB's hands to be more successful, and it was not successful in the slightest.
Herbert, I think the Emmanuel Acho, he's a social media quarterback line. I think that is true. I think Herbert, if you boil it down to the top 5 or 10 plays, he might be the best quarterback in the NFL. But the problem is you have 700 dropbacks or 650 dropbacks or however many in a given year. And Herbert, throw for throw, is pretty good, but he's not in the elite tier like some people argue him to be. So we can keep it rolling. Tua. I think Tua has to go in B tier with Purdy.
Yeah.
I think they're very similar in terms of if they're off the field, the offense really sputters, but they don't necessarily elevate. They are just like the perfect scheme fit.
Yeah, like you kind of need them there to not completely suck, but they're not necessarily going to win big games for you all the time.
Sure. Very accurate. He's, plus accuracy. When it's on schedule, he's a top 10 guy. I'd argue the same thing with Purdy has a little bit more ad lib to him. So I think Purdy is better than Tua, but Tua, when it's on schedule, when everything's going right, there are a few better. When it's off schedule and you ask Tua to be a football player instead of a quarterback, that's where my issues arise. Tyler Huntley, Snoop, Browns legend, the Pro Bowler himself, F tier. Sorry, my friend. Drake May, C tier.
C tier, yeah.
You could argue
again, another one of those guys that has the potential to get there.
Yes,
but the supporting cast in New England also was not great last year, so having to deal with that all year definitely is a hindrance.
That's true. Caleb Williams.
Same thing, I think.
Yeah, I think C's fair. I'm intrigued with the Ben Johnson offense. He has more ad-lib potential than Jared Goff. We haven't talked about Goff, but he's coming up. But I'm worried about the in-rhythm stuff. I'm worried Caleb can make the eagles, to use the golf analogy again. Caleb will make birdies and will make eagles, but he will also miss some gimmies. He will also miss the 8-foot putt. The 8-foot birdie putt. Yeah, he'll hole out from 100 yards and have the shot of the weekend. Absolutely. But when he's on the green, it's a par 3. He'll put it in the water and it'll take a 7. So,
Yikes.
yeah, and even it's not even that sometimes. It's he is so cautious with the football, it's bad sacks. Like if he throws the ball away and it's 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 15 with a chance at a strip sack, you got to take some throwaways here and there. And the touchdown interception ratio, it's totally bogus. Because he was taking sacks instead of throwing the ball and having any sort of chance at a positive play. He was just eating it. So I have my concerns. Jacoby Brissett.
F, D.
Yeah, F is fine. Like D-, F+ tier.
I'll put him in D just to be a bit nice.
Sure.
Because their F tier is filling up quite a lot.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron.
Man, Aaron.
I'm going to say C tier.
Yeah. I think C is fair because, it's pretty obvious that this is going to be the last year of his career. I think he said it too. He feels like this is the last year. Mm-hmm. And if it weren't for the fact that he is Aaron Rodgers, he would probably be a bit lower on the tier list. But you can't overlook the guy. But at the same time, he's not anywhere near what he used to be. And I don't see much of an improvement in Pittsburgh. Maybe a little bit, but...
Yeah. I think better culture in Pittsburgh. If he fits in, maybe. If it's... Like I've said with the last couple quarterbacks, if it's under 2.5 seconds, it looks fine. But as soon as it gets over 2.5 seconds, oh boy.
Yikes.
And I think we're on the opposite end of the spectrum with Russ, the next quarterback. I think Russ belongs in C tier as well. Rodgers and Russ do different things well.
I think I agree with you there. Yeah.
DK Metcalf might throw several tantrums when Aaron Rodgers doesn't look for him deep. But George Pickens and Russ, that was a great fit. Just lob it up to Pickens, and if Pickens doesn't catch it, he'll crash out. I'll be the first to admit that. But hey, they had some nice plays. Russ was really good down the field. It's the short and intermediate stuff he's not great at. Rodgers is pretty solid still at the short to intermediate, but doesn't throw the ball deep as much.
Feels like over the years too, Russ has gotten worse under pressure. Like I feel like that used to kind of be his calling card. Is that over the years he would be
that spin around in the pocket and moon ball to Lockett or Doug Baldwin.
I was watching a video. The Rams. I don't know how I remember this quote. This is from 2019. The Rams played a game against the Seahawks Sunday Night Football. I think it was week 12 of 2019. And the Rams put out their sounds of the game that they do every week, which is a compilation of sideline sounds or the radio calls will be in there. And one of the Rams radio guys, I think it was Maurice Jones-Drew, I could be wrong, but it was one of them radio guys who said, every time he moves, he makes your blood go cold. Something like that. Something along those lines. And it's that used to be his thing. And ever since then, especially in recent years, hasn't really been that apparent with Russ.
Yeah, he certainly has his issues. Justin Fields up next. I think we can put him at the top of D tier. A truly unbelievable rushing threat. The passing, deep ball is fine, but the short to intermediate is rough.
Yeah.
Will Levis, mayonnaise man, he's out for the year. We can put him in F tier.
Unfortunate what happened there.
Yep. Mason Rudolph, he's back in Pittsburgh, F tier.
Dakota Prescott. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. I think he deserves to be A tier. I know last year was really bad, but 2023 was really good. He was second in MVP. I get the playoff struggles. I get the teams with a winning record struggles.
That's what makes me want to put him in B tier.
Okay.
I top of B tier.
Okay.
I think he absolutely can be an A tier. It's just I don't, like you said, the struggle is not even in just the playoffs, but there are other times where he's he makes you go, what the heck is going on?
Fair. I don't know. I feel a little icky putting Dak in B. I think if we had like an A/B tier, he'd be in there with Herbert and Stroud.
Yeah, I'll put him in A tier. I'll
Okay.
give you that one.
Okay. I think he's a good quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. He has his issues, and part of that is being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. So Cooper
Yeah,
Rush
that's
is no
also a
longer.
thing.
Yeah, Cooper Rush is no longer on the Cowboys. He's on the Ravens. He's throwing pick
Almost
sixes in preseason.
said that was Andy Dalton for a second. They've got similar looks in a way.
No, Andy Dalton did start some games last year before he got into a car accident. Jared Goff.
A tier.
Yeah, I think so. A tier is really loading up.
It is.
There's a lot of
like good,
really good
great quarterbacks in that tier, though. I think A
Yeah.
is like good, great, and then S is like insane,
superior. Yeah.
alien like quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Jordan Love.
Oh man, probably B tier after last season.
I agree.
I know he was injured, and that's a crutch, and that's fine. But some of the decision making, he can spray his throws sometimes as well. He's on the, I'll call it the Josh Allen spectrum. That the greatness is there. The turnovers are also there generally. So Josh has really cleaned up the turnovers. You could call it the Brett Favre spectrum, that he's good for a couple really stupid throws a season. Not as many as you might think, not as many as Favre or not as many as Jameis, but he has a couple. Like he has the really bad interception against San Francisco in the playoff game. But overall, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's top half. I think he'd be like 14, 15 with a talent to be top 10, but we need to see that again. And Malik Willis, we can put him in F tier. Although he did win some games last season. The Packers did go undefeated with him as a starter, and we are not going to give Deshaun Watson the dignity of ranking him today.
There you go.
There's our QB tiers.
Our QB tier list for now, and if we ever do this again at some point, we might have a little bit less quarterbacks on there, and it might be completely different.
Yeah, we'll have Penix's of the world, Cam Ward, maybe. So exciting stuff. All right, Jack, it is time to unveil a new segment. Do you remember what the name of the segment is? Or do I have to check the Twitter DMs?
I don't remember totally what it was called. It was we came up with a bunch of ideas for a draft name.
Yes, we did. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm looking through the Twitter DMs now. Like this is funny how we don't remember it on the spot, but that's just the nature of the show, I guess. But
do you want to do selection, showdown, or battle board?
Let's do battle board. Let's make
that
sound cooler.
Welcome into battle board number 1.
Air horn sounds.
Wee 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 wee. All right. We today are having our MVP draft. The winner is the player or the person between Jack and I who picks the MVP. And if we don't happen to pick the MVP, if it's totally off the board, if Dexter Lawrence does in fact win most valuable player, as I know in my heart him to be, then whoever has the highest ranked finisher. So probably one of us is going to have a finalist or something like that. But anyways, Jack, I will give you the honors of picking heads or tails.
Well, I tried tails before the show. It did not work, but I'm going to pick tails again just because tails never fails.
Okay. Tails never fails. You may choose first. You can either have the first pick or you can give me the first pick and you can defer to the second half.
I'm going to pick first, and I'm going to be just a complete jerk, and I'm going to take Lamar Jackson at number 1.
All right. Let me get the Lamar Jackson picture in. Yeah, that is mildly annoying. Why do you take Lamar there, pal?
Because I feel like this is probably going to be his year for MVP again. I feel like the MVP among the top 4 quarterbacks that we choose, specifically among the top 3 sometimes, because Burrow hasn't really been in the MVP conversation just yet, but I feel like it just tends to go back and forth between those 3. It's a game of hot potato. Every year it's one or the other. So
yeah,
like they all, fair. If they continue to put up killer seasons, I mean, it's Lamar Jackson. I feel like this is probably the best year for him to do it.
That's fair. And I think he has a great opportunity to do it. It's a very good offense, and he didn't win it last year. Apparently that matters. And we get voter fatigue. So I'll go in the voter fatigue realm. I have a guy also winning his 3rd MVP. I have Patrick Mahomes. Why is everyone out on the Chiefs all of a sudden? I don't understand. Like I don't get it. It is beyond me why everyone's just out on the Chiefs. Like they went 15-2 last season. And yes, you can point out they went 11-0 in one-score games in the regular season. They went 12-0 including the playoffs. I get that. But they have things they improved upon from 2024 to 2025. You will have Rashee Rice for more than 3 games. You will have Hollywood Brown for more than the very small chunk of the season he played last season. Xavier Worthy is in year 2. Isaiah Pacheco is back. The offensive line, you won't be playing Joe Thuney out of position. You have a real left tackle. Is Josh Simmons the second coming of Trent Williams? I don't think so, but Chiefs reporters tell you he is. It's a better offensive line, better receiver core, better running back room. Mahomes is Mahomes. Andy Reid is Andy Reid. Kelsey is still Kelsey. He's not quite as good as he had been. I don't think he's maybe TE5, but this is a great defense. McDuffie, Karlaftis, Chris Jones, one of the top 5 players in football. Solid linebacker core. They're still a good team, and they're going to win the division. They're going to have 13 wins, and Mahomes is going to be MVP. And if he's not MVP, we can give it to this fraud again, the fullback that plays for the Buffalo Bills, who should not be the reigning MVP. I'm still mad about it. I don't care that the playoff game went the way the playoff game did. That has no relevance on the MVP ballot. They voted on that before the playoffs. But if they want to give out another, they call it a DEI MVP award, you can give it to number 17 on the Bills again.
I
the
cannot
fullback.
believe you just said that.
That was the Twitter. That was the Twitter joke of the offseason, at least from Ravens fans. I don't think he deserved to win MVP in 2024. There are other years that he had MVP worthy seasons, and he just got knocked out by 2020 Aaron Rodgers, for example. But he's one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL, so he's my pick. Jack, you get 2 selects.
I get the next 2
Yes,
picks.
you get the next 2 selections.
I guess we'll go ahead and knock one of the obvious ones out of the way. We'll go Joe Burr at number 2.
Joe Shiesty.
And then
He doesn't have the frosted tips anymore.
No, he doesn't. But I think he looks like Hayden Christensen and Anakin Skywalker now is the look.
Yeah.
I think that picture is a little bit outdated. I'm pretty sure his hair got longer. So
probably.
Interesting decision there. And then at number 3, I don't know how possible this is, but I think that the Eagles are obviously going to be the threat as the reigning champions. So we're going to go with Mr. Hurts.
Ooh.
3.
Okay. I see the vision. He does have a second place finish on his resume. He was second place back in 2022. Okay, I respect it. So I'm going to go off the board a little bit, I think. He has elite weapons. I think he's going to have a huge season statistically. I think he could be a guy that's threatening for 4,500 passing yards, 40 passing touchdowns. He threw for 40 passing touchdowns last year. That is a former Ram, Baker, touchdown maker. Oh, yeah.
Rams legend, Baker Mayfield.
Yes, Rams legend,
Panthers
legend, Browns legend, Bucks legend, Bucks MVP. The Bucks, I don't believe they've had an MVP before. Smell test says they haven't. I'm gonna do a cursory glance. Bucks MVPs. Nope, they've never had an MVP. Baker, you can be the first. And my 4th pick is going to be. This is when it really the list starts to dry up because like we did the quarterback tiers, but how many of the B tier guys do we think can truly be MVP level? I don't know. I gotta do a little thinksy doodle.
I've got kind of an idea of who my 4 and 5 are going to be, but I obviously can't pick right now.
Right. That's okay. That's a start. Do I go off the board a little bit?
Do what you want.
Okay. I am going to go with a. I'm going to go way off the board with my number 5 pick. I'll do more of a chalky pick here, I think. I'll go for Mike Tannenbaum went on real live television and claimed this guy was going to win the MVP. I don't necessarily buy that, but I am confident enough to pick him in my number 4 spot. Give me Jordan Love. Matthew Golden, wide receiver 1, great.
The excitement from Packers fans is palpable when they finally took a receiver in round 1.
Absolutely. In
Or a
Green Bay
skill
as
position
well for the
player.
draft. That was great.
Yeah, in Green Bay, that was perfect.
So, yeah, you have Matthew Golden, Romeo Dobbs, Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave, Josh Jacobs. Good offensive line, like a really, really good offensive line. So that's a fun team. I'll bet on the talent here. There's some other quarterbacks, maybe Jack, you'll choose them that might have better stats, like a Purdy or a Dak in 2023 or a Tua in 2023, but I don't know if they'll be like a elevator, like the top 4 and even Jalen and Baker. So, Jack, who is your 4th selection?
My 4th selection, I'm going bias here. We're picking Matthew Stafford at number 4.
Oh boy.
I don't think there's as much of an outside chance as it looks. I think compared to the other 3 that I've already picked, sure, but Stafford is certainly not a guy that you want to sleep on, especially if the Rams end up doing as well as I think they're going to do this year. Like I've said it this year, I think they're going to be a threat to win the Super Bowl. So Stafford could obviously be a massive reason why. I don't think I need to elaborate on that too much.
Sure.
My
your
last
final
pick,
selection.
This one is a little bit more out there. Still a quarterback. We're gonna go CJ Stroud at number 5.
Ooh, I like it. I was thinking about him in the 4 spot. I was thinking about him. All right, defend your pick.
Because I think it's another one of those things where it's like if the Texans are able to put up a solid record, he's probably going to be the reason why. I know we talked about the O-line a little bit. The weapons are not as strong as they used to be, but they are still good weapons. Nico Collins is solid. Do they still have Tank Dell?
He's going to be out for most of the season, but they did draft both Iowa State guys. It's not Rashard Higgins. He's a former Browns receiver. They drafted.
Why are the names not coming to me? They're good people on this team.
They drafted Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, both out of Iowa State.
I like Jaden Higgins a lot.
He's like Nico Collins, just like copy paste, basically.
I don't know why the names are not sticking with me right now.
Yeah, Diggs is in New England now.
Christian Kirk is there.
Yeah, Christian Kirk is there now. Also, they have all of the.
Oh yeah, they have Nick Chubb too.
Yeah,
Joe Mixon's going to be out, so Nick Chubb is going to be a nice piece there. So, I mean, I feel like they've got a decently solid team in Houston, a team that's not going to be a pushover, I'll say. And so if they end up making the Super Bowl or making a deep enough run, I feel like CJ Stroud's going to be a reason why.
All right. Well, we've come to the final pick. It's time for me to go off the board. It's time for me to pick a breakout star. I glazed him earlier. I made a fantasy football reference, the one I'm going to make all year. Michael freaking Penix Jr., baby.
All right.
Here's the case. Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson out of the backfield. Good offensive line. Falcons have a very bad defense. They are relying on 2 rookie pass rushers. Now the Rams, it worked for the Rams last year, but the Rams have real life corners and safeties. The Falcons, they have AJ Terrell. He's great. He's fine. They have Jesse Bates. He's great. They have a lot of young secondary pieces who I don't trust. So I think the Falcons will be in a lot of higher scoring games, a lot of games similar to their games against Washington and Carolina down the stretch. Michael Penix balled out in those games. He was particularly awesome against Carolina. I know that's Carolina, but week 18 game, got to have it. Season on the line. Michael Penix was awesome. He was not the reason they lost that game. So Michael Penix, he's my off the wall pick to win MVP. It'll probably be one of the top 4. But hey, we got to choose 10 players. So how do you think you did, Jack?
Solid enough.
Okay.
I feel like the top 4 were obvious, but the rest of it, it's like a little bit more up in the air. I don't think it's impossible with either of our bottom 3, honestly, but I think we both did pretty decently well. So we'll see what happens.
All right. That will wrap us up for episode 1 of 50-50 Ball. When you're in trouble, you got a receiver down there. Sometimes you just got to throw up the mailbox and trust your man to bring down the 50-50 ball. I'll see you next week.
Aaron Donald trains with knives. We're gonna keep that one alive.
Okay, he does.
See you guys next week.